Another double-barreled edition of Monday Night Football for Week 6 of the NFL schedule. This time, we've got the Buffalo Bills at the Atlanta Falcons and the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. We're going to break everything down for you here, the latest odds, the best bets. Bills coming in off the loss against the Pats, too. Tough scene there. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to OddsShark. I'm Ninja, here with Tony. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit that subscribe button. Drop your favorite bet for either game here in the comments section. Tony, the Bills come in 4-1, 2-3 against the spread. Lost outright as 8-point favorites against the Pats last week. Did that loss for you, Tony, raise any questions about this Buffalo Bills team?
It did a little bit, but honestly, I had some questions about the Bills coming in. I think a lot of people had kind of crowned them as the best team in the NFL because entering that game, they were undefeated. They've got, MVP Josh Allen. And there were concerns, like they didn't look great against the Dolphins. They didn't look great against the Saints. And then obviously now they lose to the Patriots. So I think the Bills are probably still a top 5 team in the NFL, but everybody else is coming around to the idea that I had before that game that they probably weren't the best team in the NFL. They were probably somewhere around 3 to 5 range.
Yeah, a lot of those defensive metrics didn't look great going into that one. They got exposed. Maybe a spot here for that as well, and I'll get into that momentarily. But the Falcons come in with one of the better rushing offenses in the league, Tony. The Bills, not great against the run so far this season defensively. They did put up a good showing in that loss to the Patriots, but they've been leaky in that regard. How key is Bijan Robinson and this Falcons ground game? How big is it going to be? And, are you willing, Tony, to maybe recommend any Bijan props? He's minus 135, anytime touchdown, 76.5 rushing yards, on the board at DraftKings. How big is this factor going to be for the Dirty Birds?
I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be the difference in the game. If I'm a Bills fan, season-long outlook, I'm not overly concerned about the running game because they've been without Matt Milano. They've been without Ed Oliver for a lot of games this season. I think that's making their rush defense look a lot worse. In this game here, it looks like they're going to be without Milano again. He came back for last week's game and then re-aggravated his pec injury. Milano's backup, Dorian Williams, he's day-to-day. Ed Oliver, they're saying they're hopeful he's going to be back. He's been out the last 4 games. He's their big run-stuffing defensive tackle. They need him in there. So, again, season-long, not overly concerned for the Bills. I think they're going to get it together once these guys get healthy. But for this game against Bijan Robinson, it's a major concern for the Bills.
Can you please make sense of that 30-0 Falcons loss to the Panthers a couple weeks back? 5-point road faves in that one. To me, Tony, when I look at that, it's truly one of, if not the strangest result of the season so far.
Yeah, when you look at the box score for that game, the Falcons, if you take away the final score, you'd think the Falcons won the game. They had more yards per play, less penalty yards, more first downs, less sacks allowed. The big difference, though, in the game was the turnovers. And there were 3 turnovers that the Panthers forced in that game, 2 Michael Penix interceptions, one of which was returned for a touchdown, by the way. And so the difference in the game was Michael Penix. That loss was on his shoulders. For whatever reason, the Panthers had his number in that game. So whether he was up too late, playing Call of Duty with Kyler Murray, or maybe they just had his number, they saw something on tape that they liked, maybe a tell or something like that. I don't know. But Michael Penix is responsible for that loss through his turnovers.
All right, Tony, we got 2 games to cover here. So break this one down for us from a picks perspective. Bills, 4.5-point road faves here at DraftKings at least. Total 49.5. The OddsShark's computer has this one. Buffalo around 28.8, Atlanta 19.6. So the Bills covering that number. But what do you like here from a betting perspective?
Yeah, I don't have any bets in my accounts on this one. I would lean a little bit toward the over. I think it could be a high-scoring game. That never feels good, taking a primetime over necessarily. So I don't have a bet on it, but I would guess over if I had to.
Sign up at Underdog today, and if you play $5, you can get 100 in bonus funds when you sign up with the code UnderdogOS. Plus, they have a current deposit offer of up to 1,000 in bonus funds for new customers with their 50% deposit match. That's over at Underdog. Plus, Monday Night Football's gimme pick is Jayden Daniels for passing and rushing yards. So new customers can use that gimme pick where you can choose higher or lower on up to 8 of your favorite NFL player stats. The more you pick, the more you could win. So sign up through the link down below and use that promo code UnderdogOS. The other game on Monday night has the Bears at the Commanders. And I mean, think back to last year's game between these two teams, which was insane with that Jayden Daniels Hail Mary at the end. Tyreek Stevenson famously facing the complete opposite way. The Bears blow that one on that late Noah Brown touchdown. Tony, do you think the Bears can maybe use that as bulletin board material or fuel for maybe a big old revenge game here?
Yeah, I mean, remember where the Bears were before that game. They were 4-2 and feeling really good about themselves. They lose that game. They then lose 10 straight games after that. This is a big turning point in their season, absolutely. 5 of those 10 games, they lost by 3 points or less. Immediately after that game, Stevenson, who you mentioned, gets benched. Then he leaves practice. I'm sure that didn't rub his teammates and the coaches well after that. It caused a little bit of locker room drama. So I do wonder how the alternate universe Bears did last season after they deflected that Hail Mary and won that game. I think that was a big turning point for them last season. They know that. I think that's going to be personal for Stevenson. He wants a big redemption moment in this game. He's still their starting cornerback on this team. So yeah, I think a good coach, and I believe Ben Johnson is one, I think a good coach will use this as a motivational angle for his team.
And he's been in the press talking about this, what he's been dealing with a year since that happened in that game. And speaking of the Bears, assess Caleb Williams and this Bears team for me so far this season. They come in off the bye, just the 4-game sample size, but 2-2 straight up, 2-2 against the spread, 3-1 over-under record, 25th offensive DVOA, 23rd defensive DVOA. Tony, the passing game has kind of been really their highlight so far this season, but what do you make of this team and Caleb Williams right now?
I'm going to talk to you about it statistically and then eyeball test wise. So statistically, Caleb Williams is having an okay season, but a lot of his production came in that one game against Dallas, who was really banged up and has a terrible secondary. So he's got 8 touchdowns this year. 4 of them came in that one game. You take that one game out, and he's just kind of having a mediocre season so far. Eyeball test wise, Caleb looks very flashy at times, even in the running game like we saw, I believe it was week 1, but also inconsistent at times. He looks like a superstar 1 minute, and then he's missing a wide open pass the next minute. So I want to see some consistency from Caleb Williams. You and I talked before the season started about how Caleb is kind of out of excuses. He's got a decent offensive line now. He's got Ben Johnson calling the plays. He has a lot of weapons in Chicago. This season is kind of his last chance. Now, it's a little early in the season for me to, write his obituary for the season because he is in the early stages of a new system. But let me just say this. If the Bears finish this season like they did last season, I wouldn't want to be Caleb Williams in that big Chicago market. He's going to start feeling some heat.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it in the build-up to the season, like the pieces seemingly are in place and, the new head coach, which makes it all the more strange that Chicago's running game is so ineffective so far. They rank very low in DVOA for rushing offense. DeAndre Swift hasn't gotten it going. Very, very weird there. The other side here, Tony, Washington comes in off the Week 5 win. They move to 3-2. But we're a team, Tony, that many, myself included, felt may regress this season in 2025. Are you surprised by Washington sitting at 3-2 coming into this week?
Last week's win against the Chargers was really impressive, especially without Terry McLaurin. I think for me, Washington is kind of a tough team to evaluate because they've only had Jayden Daniels for 3 of these 5 games. One of my bigger concerns with Washington that I don't hear a lot of people talking about is, are they a good team on the road? They're 6-5 on the road since Dan Quinn took over. And it's weird when you look at Jayden Daniels, his home and road splits. He actually plays better on the road. So I don't know what it is, but there's something about the Commanders as a team where they sort of underperform on the road. And they've got games this season against Kansas City on the road, tough place to play. Dallas can be a tough place to play. At Minnesota, very tough place to play. Philadelphia, very tough place to play. So that's my bigger concern with Washington. Again, I don't have a great read on them so far this season, but we'll see how it plays out.
And we're recording this sort of early Thursday, but I believe McLaurin and Noah Brown questionable in terms of their status right now. So keep an eye on that on the Washington front. That said, they are 4.5-point home favorites here at DraftKings. The total sits at 49.5. Oddshark Computer expecting an 8-point Commanders win in this one, sort of around 28-20. It's expecting there. But what do you like in this one, Tony?
I took the Bears alt team total over 19.5 points, minus 190 over at bet 365. A lot of juice there. It feels like a comfortable bet with me, though, because Ben Johnson, one of the most creative play callers in the NFL, is coming off a bye. He's had some extra time to prepare for this Commanders defense. So 20 points or more, we hit that bet, minus 190.